Welcome back, everyone. We're on our last pocket page of the Nature Notebook album, and let's label this 7 and turn it over 8. Okay, last one. So, well, pocket page. So this is the cuts you'll need for page 7, and you're going to need to cut 2 A flaps. So I labeled them A and A2, but they're both 7 and 5/8 by 4, and that is 2 lines past more than 7.5. So 2 of those, 2 B's, which is 7 and 5/8 by 5 1/4. C is a pocket, so that is 8 and 5/8 by 4, 2 lines after 8.5. D is just a little topper that we're going to put on top. Oops, I didn't write it down, but it's 2.5 by 3. Okay, so let's get these scored up. Okay, so let's take our A flaps first. And these are top flat, well, they all are. The A and B are from the top and bottom, so we want to score them with the short side facing up. So the 4-inch side faces up, and that way it'll open across the top. So we'll do that for both of them. Same thing with the B's. We'll put the short side facing the top, so that's the 5 1/4 side. And C is a pocket. So we're going to start with the side we're going to have open facing the top. Score on 3 sides. Okay. D, our little topper, we do not need to score. Okay, so let's bring out the tape. Okay, so we're going to score these on the linen side with the raised side, the bumpy side facing up, which is what we usually do unless we're doing like that double pocket page. Tilt my camera a little bit so you can see better. Okay, and C on all 3 sides. So I'm going to take the bone folder and press it all down. If I can find it. Where did my bone folder go? for our pocket, before we fold it, let's cut the corners. Right up there to the intersection and turn out. Okay, so here's our pocket page. Let's do the A flaps first. So those are the shorter flaps, and we'll put one on the top and one on the bottom. Turn this over. Okay, so also let me just look here. Decide if you want a corner round. And I do think top and bottom flaps look good corner rounded. So I'm gonna do that. All right. So let's make sure we have just a little bit of space on left and right. It's one line, it's a 1/16 of an inch. Guide it to the edge using your thumbs and just press down. Okay, so that's a top flap, and then we'll do our bottom. Gonna corner around that. Okay, same thing. We're gonna look left and right and just have a little bit of space on each side. Whoopsie, that stuck down before I wanted it to. Guide it to the bottom. There. And then when they close, they're not touching, which is what we want. So now the B flaps. I'm gonna corner around these. And this goes underneath that A flap. So let's do the top first. Okay, so I want this, again, so we want this A flap to be able to go over the B. So let's put it a little bit above this score line here. Like one line, which would be about a 1/16 of an inch, which is the same that you're having on the left and the right. It doesn't matter if you do a little more or not. Just as long as you're not right on top of that line. And see there, it'll go right over. So that looks good. And now we'll do the bottom. Okay, so here we go. 1/16 of an inch on each side, and I'm gonna bring it just above. Yeah, just above this score line. It's hard when you've got a shadow going. There we go. There. And that folds over like that. Okay, got all these flaps here, but basically these are gonna alternate like that, and then this and that. Okay, so let's get our pocket down. And just take off the bottom piece of score tape. Okay, and so this, I've got just a little tiny bit of space on each side, and I want this pocket a little bit above that score line, maybe a little more than usual, just so it fits over top. So it looks like it's just a border. Basically, you'll have a little bit of black showing here. And that way this will go over top. Okay, there's that. So now we are on to magnet placement. I'm gonna clean up my area. Okay, magnets. So let's see, first of all, let's do the bottom. Well, first let's do the B flap. And let me think this through for a second here. What we need to do for the B flap, if I put these, like normally I put them on the corners and it goes over here, but we're gonna have things in our pockets. So basically I think it'll stick down better if we make it land on our pockets. So I'm not gonna put it quite so high. And what's probably the best idea is to start on the pocket and then have it land on this flap. Okay, because I have done that before where there's things in the pocket, so your magnet doesn't really keep it as secure because it's got to go through more layers of paper. So let's start with the pocket and put it right on top there. Gonna get my thinner tape. Sometimes they label them wrong. Okay, so I'm just gonna flip this over, press it, and they land right about there. So that is going to be there. This will lay down once we take our tape off the pocket. And then this bottom flap, I'm going to put 2 on the sides. I need another pack of magnets. I probably go through about 2 packs per book. So if any of you know where to get thin ones like these are super thin. I would love to hear it. But when I've tried ordering them in bulk, like on Amazon, they're pretty thick. So yeah, send me a comment if you got some good magnets that are nice and thin like this. I'm going to hold this pocket down and then press down. Actually, no. All right, hold on. If these two land right there, I want to see if I can, if I didn't have this magnet, let me just check. I could make these land where this, it could stick from this one under here and save myself 2 magnets. Let me just check this out for a second. All right, if I go like this, yes. Okay, so I don't really, it just lined up that way. I don't really need to put 2 here because these will suction, I guess, magnetize by these. So I'm gonna hold these out for the next, for our next flap. So there we go. We can save ourselves a couple of magnets. Let's do flap A. So this top one that's thinner, I'll just put these over here. So let me see, I've got that there. This is gonna go under here. So let me put one in the middle here. Oh. And that is going to land on this bigger B flap right there. Okay, so that goes there. Wait, this one goes here. It kind of alternates. Then that, and then that. Okay, and then our D flap, we're going to have a cutout of one of the cards. It's got mushrooms on it right here. So I'm going to tape it under here. And I don't want this to stick up, so it'll probably have a magnet. And let's see where that would go. That would land right around there. So yeah, see what happens when you tape this down. I'm going to show you the decorative papers that I put. But basically, you're going to put the top piece of paper down, then make a little pencil mark right around where you want it to go. So I'm going to put a little pencil mark underneath there, and that's where I'm going to have tape running. And I'll tape that down here, and then put a magnet if it needs it. If you see this sticking, curling up, you could put a magnet under here before you put that decorative paper and land over there. Okay, so I'm gonna wait to do that until I decorate, but let me show you what I did. Okay, so page 7. So page 6 had the bees and honeycombs, so I kept that going on this side. So I've got bees up here. I've got the black paper that has the words and it's got some butterflies down here. I chose the mushroom little card. There's several of them, so whichever one you like best, I fussy cut around the edges. They're jig-jaggedy, corner rounded. And underneath I have the orange paper, and then the honeycomb is on the bigger flap. If you want, like I added some mushrooms to go along with my mushroom card out front, that's optional. There's a border page. So I just cut out a strip of the mushrooms. And underneath I've got the bees, honeycombs on the pocket. Here's a cute little butterfly with ivy, and I fussy cut the ivy stuck out of this card, so I fussy cutted that. And I've got a card in here. And so for this, basically you take this on a piece of black cardstock, put pencil marks, where it's gonna go, and put your pencil mark on this side is where you score, and you fold that over and just cut. So you make a little booklet there. And I got a photo mat with the bees and the orange, and then another photo mat with green paper and ivy. So yeah, there we go with that. So these wind up sticking to each other, because the magnet, so I have to unstick that, put that down first like that, and there. And for the inside paper, I chose yellow because it's got all the colors that we use. It's got some orange and green ivy in there. So I chose that for the pullout. And I corner rounded my pullouts too. So that is it. Next video is our last page. And I'll go over the last page and the pockets on the front. And that is it. So see you soon.